Okay.
So going back to the discussion, if my game plan is to sit back and take that defensive angle when you apply forward pressure, but you're afraid to commit, so you appear like you're wanting to commit, but you're not really coming enough.
Yeah.
And that's what was going on with Patrick. That's where your legs have to come into the game plan. So yeah, you intentionally sat back, took that offline position because you were waiting for him to get close enough to hit with the hand, but he didn't give it to you because he was not committing all the way. So at that point, reach out with one of your longer weapons, throw a leg kick, and then step in, close that gap. You got to do something. If your game plan is to have them step in and close enough to where you can hit them and they don't, what's got to happen next?
You got to close the gap.
You got to change it. You got to change what you're doing, right? Either that or just nobody gets hit, which was what was happening a lot of the time.
So I could be out here, and what I could do is I could even throw a kick like that, huh? And then,
Well, I wouldn't. I would just use a lead leg fling, like a flicking jab, lead leg flick. So take your angle like you were, where you step off. Okay, so he doesn't come all the way. So now throw a lead leg kick,
like this,
boom, and then go in with something, right? Because you got a gap that you've got to cover, and you don't want to just come into something.
Straight in.
Yeah, I mean you don't want to just walk into something, right? So if you feel like he hasn't come, flick it just like you would with a jab. You know, you're testing the waters. That's what those feeler jabs are for. Round kicks are the same thing. You know, round kicks are feeler kicks, feeler jabs. Throw a little leg kick out there with the lead leg and follow it in.
So step out.
Or follow it in off a jab. You can use a jab too. But you're going to have to close gap at that point. He didn't close it for you.
So if I come in, and I come in here, then that's a good time to use that angle.
Well, I wouldn't, because you just took this side. Why would you want to go back across? If you're fighting me and you take that side just like you did, okay, so now why would you want to try and come back across the center?
You don't.
You don't. You want to keep working my weak side, right? My back is the safest place for you to be. This is one of the safest places for you to be. But how hard is it to get behind somebody and keep hitting them? You know, I mean, that's a great place for you to be, shitty place for me to be. But it's not like we go out and I turn my back on you and then say, ready, fight. So you just earn that piece of real estate by taking that angle. Why would you want to try and come back into harm's way? Why would you want to try and cross up? You know, you don't. Keep working that side. So if I'm left foot forward, where's my weak side? My blind side, of course. But you have just taken my strong side. But because you closed and got behind this shoulder, it's no longer my strong side, is it? It's not my blind side, but it's not my strong side. So as long as you stay over here on this quarter panel of me, you're in pretty good company. I might be able to come back and catch you with an elbow. I might be able to do some kind of a spinning move.
So I'd be better off to angle this way.
Of course you would, right? That don't make sense. I mean, really. Yeah, you don't want to come back out here where my guns are. You know, it's like the German Panzer tanks. You know, they always wanted to get behind them because not only was that their weak spot, but you know, you don't want to be facing their guns. So my guns are here. You just got over here. Stay over there and work it. You know, don't try and come back into it where you're going to get hit. Just be cautious of, you know, them coming in with an elbow or a spinning elbow or something. But yeah, I mean, that's why you take that side. It's a lot easier to close the blind side than it is the open side. Because you only have one tool here where both hands can kind of get you up to a point here. But once you get to a certain point, now you're just basically the same thing, only you haven't got my backside. You've got a good positioning, but it's not as ideal as maybe over here.
So when you do this move though, so when you do you block here, angle here, right here, right?
Okay.
Is there a way to put yourself in that situation?
What situation?
To where you would do that move, to set that up?
Well, like I said, get in a fighting stance. Okay, so I'm left-handed. So I elect to go to this side. I'm not trying to, like, you're kind of over-exaggerating this whole movement. This is just going to do what to me? Yeah, right, it's just gonna let me get hit. All I'm trying to do is put a hand on this glove. And that's the difference between your over-exaggerated movement and what I'm trying to teach you. If we're fighting and I go here, this hand, my pressure is coming straight out, right? Here, bang, right? Not here,
Bang.
right? So, if we're fighting and I go, what's gonna be your next move? Probably not gonna try and hit me with that hand. You're probably gonna try and pull that hand away.
Free it up.
And sure, but in the process, I've already got something coming. So, instead of you making this kind of a thing that you always seem to do on this bag, just put your hand out. All I'm doing is trying to do a stop hit.
Just right there.
Sure, my hands are right here. Right, right, exactly what I want you to do.
Yeah.
See how easy that was? Right, you're just jamming me, that's all. You're just jamming my ability to send that hand home. But if you do it every time, eventually he's going to get smart. So you don't do it every time. You just do it at the times when you're closing on an aggressive close. That's an aggressive close. I'm not waiting for you to move. I'm creating gap movement. I'm creating gap close. That's an aggressive move. That's an aggressive offline. Right? Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying by aggressive offline?
Yeah, because I'm not.
You're not doing anything.
I'm going
Yeah, right, right. So I'm just trying to put a hand out and kind of interrupt you. Bam! I'm trying to interrupt you. Just enough, just long enough to interrupt you.
But that's coming about just when you're already in range, right?
Right.
I mean,
Well, yeah. Basically, you've gotten close, and he's either got his back up against the cage, or like I said, doing those kind of moves when you're out in the middle of the ring is kind of risky, because really, if you've got the ability to go backwards, you know, and we're fighting, and I go here, what prevents you from mirroring that movement? No going backwards.
oh, here,
Sure.
boom.
Yeah, exactly. But if you've got a cage against you, you're up against something, more than likely you're not going to. So that's when you would want to use something like that.
So like when you know that Mike Tyson video you sent me, right?
Right.
He creates that, right? I mean, he creates it by being aggressive forward and then angling.
Right. He
So what
forces
is
you
he
to
doing?
react to his movement.
What is he doing to get in that range?
Well, you're so intimidated by his power that if I go here, what are you thinking?
That punches. Yeah, you're just thinking get away from him.
You're thinking, oh, here comes the body shot. So if I go here and you react to that, because that's what will happen, now I come back with this. That's why he made that shit work so well.
Because he had so much power.
Right. You never knew what he was going to do. You didn't know if he was going to throw that lead hand body shot or if he was just trying to set you up for the next shot.
So he's just coming in, making you think,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
And then he gets in.
He's creating movement. He's forcing you to react to his movement. And then once you react to his movement, he's catching you, you know, however he's planning on catching you off of that movement. So like if I come here and I go here, and then I go here, what did your arms do when I went here? Right. That's the same kind of mentality.
So he's just
you're
going.
creating movement, you're dictating his movement by what you're doing. And because he's doing that, he makes it hard for him to catch him clean with a good shot. So typically, you know, the best thing you can do when a guy is coming in with that kind of stuff is to jam him. Just to stick a jab into his face. And that's how Holyfield and Lennox Lewis were so successful when they fought him, because they both had really good counter jabs. And so when Tyson tried to do that crap, he was getting hit a lot.
And he didn't. Holyfield didn't back up too, right?
No.
He jammed.
Same with Lennox Lewis. Use that lead hand jab and kind of shut him down.
The worst thing you're gonna do against Tyson is go backwards, right? That's like the worst guy you want to move backwards against.
Yeah, or drop your hands, or keep your hands down.
Because he's just.
Right. But when you think he's going to hit you to the body, what are you going to do? You're going to go, oh God! And that's going to open your head up. So his method, you know, was he was able to be so successful through intimidation as much as anything. You know, a lot of people will say, God, he had a lot of flaws in his technique. Yeah, he did, but because he was so intimidating, you know, that he could get away with so much stuff that normally you wouldn't want to do.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, if that's what you're trying to do is to set some of that stuff up, you know, like, just like I said about those rear leg round kicks, you throw a couple of really hard rear leg round kicks, and then you sell that movement on that rear leg round kick, and then follow right up with that right hand over the top. Those are great. That's a great way to kind of get them over here, thinking over here, and then coming in with this side, you know.
So that's just like if you're on the outside and you just blast them with those kicks.
Correct.
A couple of them.
Right.
And where he's like,
Or if I'm fighting you and I like to come in and throw a lot of these body hooks, and I'm digging these body hooks, and so one time I come in and go here, and you're going to react to that, and instead of throwing the body hook, I come right over the top. So I've drawn you over to that side to open this side.
so you're just going here, boom.
Right. So you land a couple of really hard body shots, and now all of a sudden, right.
You're just setting that up.
Right. And you can do that off an initial move, you know. I mean, like I like to do. I like to just do initial moves where I just lead hand attack you to the body with a lead hook. I love that.
So you're here and you just go,
Bam! I just come in, yeah, close gap and come in and hit you with a really hard hook. I don't care if you block it or not. It's a great starter because more than likely it's going to open you up for the other side.
just throw a big hook to their body.
Right.
Bam.
Because if you don't respect that body shot and I throw it as hard as I throw it, it's going to be all bad for you. Especially if you try to jab on that. So if I'm here and you come in with that body hook, who's going to get the worst of that deal?
Oh, so you're racking their ribs.
Right. And if I'm left-handed and you come in with that, who's going to get the worst end of that deal?
So it's a good starter piece.
It's a great starter piece. I love lunging body shots. And you threw a couple of them at Patrick that day, and I complimented you on that. I said, I love that.
Just the
Lead hand attack to the body.
Yeah. I think I was.
You landed it every time. Every time you threw one, you landed it clean. And it just, he didn't know how to deal with that. And it had gotten his head, it intimidated him.
And that's where you said a good move would be to do a blitz.
Off of that, yes.
If someone
Well,
is
actually, no. Off of that, because you're already inside now. Most likely, you're already inside, you don't need to blitz. Blitzing is just to overrun a guy. If you come in with a lead, hard body attack,
So you're here.
you're already in now, right?
Yeah.
So blitzing would
So
make
the
sense.
blitzing is the footwork. So if you're out here and you want to test somebody, you
So
can
I
just.
said blitzing works great off of switch steps. Because if you do a switch step, you kind of draw the hit and then you blitz in. In the fight with Vitor and Gregard, when did Gregard get hit the most? When Vitor blitzed him. Watch the video. Gregard gets him up against that cage, and as soon as he sees where Vitor is like, okay, I don't want to go back any farther, you could register. You could see the registering. I mean, if you're really a smart fighter, you can see where then Gregard went, okay, now it's time to throw my shots. But there were several times, or at least sometimes, where Gregard got him into that corner, and instead of sitting and registering, Vitor blitzed.
That's his best move.
That's his best move. It really is. I don't know why he wasn't doing it more.
He's almost the best blitzer, probably.
He's really good at it. I don't know about best, but he's certainly good at it. Robbie Lawler's got a really good blitz too. I mean, when he wants to come, he's coming. You know, and that's the beauty of a blitz is if you got good solid punches, you know, and you charge a guy and you catch him off guard, you're gonna do some serious damage. Vitor caught Gregard several times with that blitz, but he didn't follow it up. You know, he got a couple of shots in and then he stopped. And I never did understand that either, you know. Vitor was over his head. He was just not, he just felt like he was getting dominated. You could tell. He was not trying to control the fight.
You have to be really confident to blitz someone.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you're running a race, do you have any reservations in holding back when the gun goes off? If you do, you're going to lose on the line. If you lose on the line, you lose the race. Unless you're like somebody like Usain Bolt that can run so fast that you can have a horrible start and still win the race, you know. But really, it's all about your commitment on the initial move. And when you go to blitz, that's what makes your blitz successful. Is you don't have any reservations about the fact that you're going to win that. You're going to win that situation.
You gotta run the race to win the race.
Absolutely. So blitzing is all about commitment. You just gotta commit, you know, run through the fighter.
I mean, Vitor, when he does it, he just straight punches, man.
Well,
Typically.
like the time he did with Vanderlei Silva, yeah, that's what he did. But blitzing doesn't have to be 15 punches. Blitzing is mainly just
Closing
the
gap and
concept of
striking.
closing gap with total commitment. And then once you're in, you can do things like knees and elbows.
So
You're attacking, overpowering, and then determining what needs to come next.
you're out here and you just make a decision. I'm going for
Right.
this. Boom, and then you just.
And if he keeps trying to run backwards, that favors you to keep punching. If he tries to hole up and weather the storm, well, then now you're in, so now what are you gonna do? Well, that's up to you. You can knee, you can elbow, you can back away and throw a blasting leg kick, you can do, you know, make sense of what you did. The whole concept behind blitzing is just getting in and overpowering your opponent. And so, and then depending on where they go will depend on where you take it, you know, or where you should take it. Because if they don't move and you blitz, you could run over the top of them and catch yourself up, you know, so you gotta be prepared for that. You know, you got a guy that likes to just clam up, shell up, and you blitz him and he shells up, and you keep coming, you're gonna get jammed. And now if he's smart, he's gonna catch you as soon as you try to adjust from your being jammed.
And you can get tired blitzing too, right? I mean, it's like
Well,
cardio.
it takes a lot of energy, yeah. And, you know, but it's something that you practice, you know, it's not something you're gonna throw every time, but it's like the more stuff that you have to throw at your opponent, the less predictable you are. The harder it is for them to determine what it is you're gonna be coming with. So it's good to have a blitz in there, it's good to have a good blitz, you know? Let's see a blitz, let me see you in your fighting stance and just blitz, attack.
So a blitz
So
is
it's a full
just.
step through. You wanna get those hands moving sooner, because he's gonna catch you as soon as you start coming, so you gotta get those hands going.
But it's literally just running.
Right. It's awkward, huh?
It's
not
so
something
weird.
that very few people do. So when you step with that rear foot, you're gonna throw that rear hand, and then you're just gonna start firing hands after that.
Oh, so go here.
No, I would go, that's not your rear hand at the moment,
Oh, go here.
and then keep going.
So I'm here. I'm going.
Right.